Hello, and welcome to this edition of Wake Up America. I'm Spanky the Clown, sitting in for our good friend Ben.
Right, Spanky. As always, we will discuss the important topics you have to dig to find in the news and what they mean to you, since the mainstream media will not tell you.
Well, first up, let's mention the topic that has once again popped up, and that being, the government is gearing up to swipe the private retirement funds of Americans.
Right, Spanky. The criminals posing as our government are making more and more noise that they are getting ready to rob you and every other hard-working American of your retirement. These such articles can be found on any search engine, but most Americans will just giggle and continue to drool while watching American Idol.
Sadly, you're right, Sally. If I, Spanky the Clown, came into your house and demanded your retirement money, would you just hand it over? I would say no, so why the hell is it okay if these scoundrels take it? At least I would ask first.
One has to wonder, Spanky. I guess as long as they keep us safe from scary, turban-wearing cavemen, it's an even trade? I mean, they did finally after 10 years kill Bin Laden, right?
Oh yes, and speaking of keeping us safe, that hemorrhoid with ears posing as DHS Chief Janet Napolitano has called for another trusted traveler program. A barcoded type system for all of us if we travel. I feel safer already.
So now, not only does she have her TSA perverts molesting us and our children when we want to fly to prove we aren't terrorists, now it's time to be marked like cattle.
How about that last episode of Dancing with the Stars, huh, Sally? Maybe Napolitano could have her own show, Dancing with the Terrorists.
Well, it could star all the crooks in Washington and the bankers and lobbyists on Wall Street. They are the true terrorists, not the average American trying to get by from day to day. They are the ones stealing and destroying everything.
Maybe Obama could start his own reality show, instead of Where's Waldo, Where is my birth certificate?
Yeah, and the first one to find it could win his teleprompter. But we know he can't survive without that, so I wouldn't look for that to happen.
Okay, now back to more serious matters. Government has ordered YouTube to censor videos that show protests and other examples of citizens simply asserting their rights.
All part of living in a free country, I guess. Aren't we lucky?
Oh yes, despite being taxed, watched and interrogated for every move we make, I feel free.
Speaking of taxed, the corporate rulers have also discussed taxing motorists by the mile, something they are continuing to sneak into discussions which will one day soon be law, and no longer discussed.
Oh my, I must have missed that one while watching Apprentice. Are you sure it's not just another crazy conspiracy theory? I mean, someone just told me the other day Santa Claus didn't exist. If he doesn't, who has been eating the cookies I leave out on Christmas Eve? Next you're going to tell me the Tooth Fairy doesn't exist either. Or maybe you'll tell me that 19 guys with box cutters didn't dupe a multi-trillion-dollar defense system?
I'm afraid not, Spanky. In other police state news, a Western Indiana school district wants to give its bus drivers the authority to search students for weapons or drugs.
Little by little, we are losing our constitutional rights. Soon enough, it will all be a memory, but don't worry, at least we will be safe from the America, freedom-hating terrorists.
Not really, Spanky. You just described the people in Washington claiming to be our government. They will still be in place.
Oops, my bad. Guess I stayed up too late watching The Bachelor, but I'm still wondering why aren't our fearless leaders going after all the banks who are laundering drug money to the Mexican drug cartels, or Big Pharma, whose drugs kill thousands each year, or even Monsanto and their processed, genetically modified garbage that passes off as food and sickens millions of Americans?
Well, you see, Spanky, they accidentally put money into the wallets and pockets of those so-called leaders, and by that accident, the so-called leaders turn their heads and do not see all this. All those campaign contributions cause blindness.
Don't you mean bribes?
No, these guys play by a different set of rules. These are campaign contributions. Do you need a little more fluoride in your water, Spanky? And it's an accident that they receive them. Do you understand now?
Well, oh yes, I do. I think I'm starting to understand, and I'm a free individual as well.
Yes, Spanky, you're free. Freedom is allowing the government to rob you, molest you at the airports and bus stations. Freedom is being taxed for everything. Freedom is eating genetically modified fish and tomatoes, and then being forced to buy phony healthcare. And it's okay because the television tells you it is, so don't question it. Just go along with it and everything will be okay.
Okay, just as long as I can still watch American Idol, that's really all I want.
Very good. I'm glad you now understand freedom.
Well, folks, those who are not in the Matrix understand we were only joking. Until next time, educate yourself, get out of your trance, and we'll see you next time. Good night.